When people talk about the CRNA profession, autonomy is one of the most discussed and most misunderstood topics. Online conversations often frame autonomy as a simple switch. Either you are independent or you're supervised. In reality, autonomy for nurse anesthetists exists on a spectrum, shaped by legal rules, institutional policies, and real world practice models. Two nurse anesthetists can work in different states and experience nearly identical autonomy. At the same time, two nurse anesthetists in the same state can have dramatically different levels of independence depending on where they work. In this video, we're going to explain what autonomy actually means for nurse anesthetists across the United States, why state laws alone don't tell the full story, and how practice reality often looks very different from online assumptions. What autonomy actually means in practice. Autonomy does not mean working alone, and it does not mean the absence of collaboration. For nurse anesthetists, autonomy refers to the ability to assess patients, make clinical decisions, manage anesthesia care, and respond to changes without requiring step-by-step approval for routine care. Autonomy exists within systems. These systems include state law, hospital policy, payer requirements, and staffing models. This is why autonomy is not uniform, even within the same state. Understanding autonomy requires understanding how those systems interact during real clinical work, not just how they appear on paper. How autonomy is determined. Autonomy is shaped by three primary forces. The first is state law. Some states explicitly require physician supervision of nurse anesthetists, while others do not. The second is Medicare policy. Medicare supervision rules affect billing and participation but do not define scope of practice or daily clinical authority. The third, and often most influential, is facility policy. Hospitals and anesthesia groups decide how anesthesia care is delivered day to day, regardless of what state law technically allows. This is why state autonomy maps are helpful for context but insufficient for making job decisions. States with full practice authority. In full practice authority states, nurse anesthetists are legally permitted to practice without physician supervision. Examples include Iowa, Montana, Oregon, Colorado, and Washington. In these states, the law does not require anesthesiologist oversight for anesthesia care. This often supports independent practice models, particularly in rural hospitals, critical access facilities, and smaller surgical centers. However, full practice authority does not guarantee independence in every job. Large health systems in states like Colorado or Washington may still choose care team models based on operational preference, payer mix, or organizational culture. The law allows autonomy, but employers decide how it is used. States requiring physician supervision. Some states require physician supervision of nurse anesthetists by statute. Examples include Texas, Florida, California, and Georgia. In these states, supervision is legally required, but that does not automatically mean micromanagement. In many care team environments, nurse anesthetists manage cases independently, while supervision functions as a regulatory or documentation framework. Compensation, workload, and professional responsibility can still be high in these states. Supervision does not inherently limit skill, judgment, or contribution. This distinction is often lost in online discussions. Facility delegated practice states. In many states, autonomy is largely determined at the facility level rather than by strict statutory language. States such as Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Arizona fall into this category. In these environments, state law may be permissive, but hospitals decide whether anesthesia is delivered through care team or independent practice models. Two hospitals in the same city can operate completely differently. One may offer broad autonomy, while the other maintains layered oversight and formal supervision structures. In these states, contracts, call structure, and job expectations matter more than the statute itself. Medicare opt-out. States. Medicare opt-out status is one of the most misunderstood aspects of autonomy. States such as Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, and New Mexico have opted out of the federal Medicare supervision requirement. Opt-out allows facilities to bill Medicare without physician supervision. It does not override state law, and it does not mandate independent practice. Opt-out primarily supports rural access to anesthesia care and flexible staffing models. It often enables greater autonomy, but it does not guarantee it. Understanding this distinction prevents a lot of confusion. High confusion states and online debate. Some states generate constant debate online. States like California, New York, and Illinois are frequently discussed in forums and social media threads, often with conflicting claims about autonomy. These debates usually oversimplify reality. Autonomy in these states varies widely by facility type, specialty, and employment model. Online arguments rarely reflect how anesthesia care actually functions on the ground. If this breakdown is helpful, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. And if you want a full written reference with state groupings, examples, and deeper explanations, there's a detailed blog article linked in the description that pairs with this video. It's designed to be something you can come back to when comparing offers or locations. Now let's put this into context. Why autonomy matters but isn't everything. Autonomy affects daily workflow, decision-making speed, and professional satisfaction. However, autonomy alone does not determine pay, lifestyle, or burnout risk. Call schedules, coverage models, case mix, and team culture often matter just as much, if not more. Some nurse anesthetists thrive in highly autonomous roles in states like Montana or Iowa. Others prefer structured care team environments in states like Texas or Florida. Neither preference is right or wrong. What matters is alignment. How autonomy affects career flexibility. Autonomy also influences long-term career flexibility. Highly autonomous roles can accelerate clinical confidence, but may also come with higher responsibility and stress. Structured environments may offer balance and sustainability, especially later in a career. Many nurse anesthetists move between models over time. Autonomy is not a permanent identity. It's a phase-dependent decision. Understanding this helps with long-term planning. How to evaluate autonomy in a job offer. Rather than asking whether a state allows autonomy, nurse anesthetists should ask how autonomy functions in that specific job. Who makes final decisions? How does escalation work? What happens during emergencies? How is responsibility shared? These questions reveal far more than a state map ever will. This is why pairing this video with the blog article linked below can help you make better informed decisions. The real takeaway. Autonomy is not a switch, it is a system. State laws create boundaries, but facilities define reality. Understanding how autonomy actually works allows nurse anesthetists to make intentional career decisions instead of relying on assumptions. Clarity leads to better outcomes, professionally, financially, and personally. Before you go, click the next recommended video on your screen. It builds directly on this discussion and connects autonomy to job models, lifestyle, and long-term career planning. I'll see you in the next one.